a Monday, February 9th, 2026. Ryan Ermanni, JR Afternoon on a post-Super Bowl Monday here in the city of Detroit. Beth Ann Long is here today. Danielle Mason is here today. Thanks to each and every one of you for making us part of your day here. If you're listening on 760 WJR, we welcome you in. WJR.com, the WJR free mobile app, and of course, if you are watching us live streaming on YouTube each and every day, just go to youtube.com or the YouTube app, pop up 760 WJR, and the live video will be there to watch us anytime that you want, including the live video. Now, first and foremost, I need to formally thank Beth Ann and Danielle for coming to work today because, ladies, you are not among the 26 million people that will take today off. Thank you for that. Yes. 26 million people, according to UKG, the workplace platform, will either call in sick today or have called in sick or take the day off. I just don't believe today's a day you could call in.
I'm with you on that, especially if you're going out and drinking a lot, okay, sure, but the game's done by 10:30. Just go to bed. You might be a little tired, but day still goes as normal.
Tell that to my boyfriend who wouldn't go to sleep until 1:30.
Did he call in sick today or did he go to work? You know, if you're going to play, you got to pay, right?
I guess I don't really know what he's doing. He was going on a flight to go back to Kansas City. So the flight was at 8, but he canceled it last night and then rebooked for the noon flight.
Okay.
But he didn't leave my house for that flight until 11:15, and it was at noon. He almost missed it by an inch.
That's incredible.
He just got in there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. What was going on? My goodness. Incredible. Too much drink in there, huh?
Or God. Yeah. When he walked in the house, I was like, oh, did you watch the game at all? Or what?
Oh my gosh. But that's part of this. Beth Ann, how did you watch the game with people? How did you go about your afternoon?
We just very chill, just at our house. We made a bunch of food, me and my boyfriend, and we just watched it. I was in sweats and no makeup, and I was like, I don't need to go out for this.
Well, isn't that part of it? The Super Bowl to me is the time where you do stay home or watch it at a house party or something like that. Now, my wife has been sick all weekend long. Now, my wife, God bless her, stay-at-home mom. If she had to go to a job today, she wishes she could call in sick for being a mom today. That's for sure. But if she had a job to go to, her condition, it would have been worthy to call in sick today. But you got to be that sick, I think, to take the day off on a day like today. But because she was sick, I watched the game by myself. I was going to have my dad over and maybe a buddy or two. Nobody wanted to come over, and I don't blame them. Nobody wants to get sick. I hope, knock on wood, I don't know how you prevent something like that from happening, but a good immune system, I guess. But because she was sick, I watched the game by myself. Something, Beth Ann, that I've never done before. I've never watched a Super Bowl by myself before. And I got to tell you, it was actually quite enjoyable.
Isn't it? Nobody's talking.
I thought I was going to hate it. And I still had myself a Super Bowl party. I still got pizza. I still got wings. I had some chips and dip, ripped down about 4 Coke Zeros, and I was ready to watch some football.
I think that's the way to go. You don't have to coordinate with everybody. You can eat what you want, and it's just a nice, calm game.
Now, I have 2 kids. Neither one of them care less about sports at all, which is great, which is fine. Like what you like, but they wouldn't even watch it with me. I mean, they were doing their own thing. My daughter was probably looking at some sort of nail products or something, all these face creams that these young girls are into and stuff like this.
She was doing that for 4 hours?
I mean, unbelievable. Seriously. chit-chatting with her friends. My son, God bless him, he's into Legos and superheroes. He couldn't care less. So it was just yours truly. But again, I was just watching it by myself. One of the things that I did notice, though, and Beth Ann, since you had people over, you would be the perfect person to ask this to. There were about 15 or so cars on my street, presumably at Super Bowl parties, before the game started.
Yeah.
I took the trash out after the end of the third quarter. 0 cars remaining on the street. They were all gone. Is it just customary to leave after the halftime show and try to make it home for the second half? Does anybody stay for the full game?
I think it's customary to leave. I don't know if everyone does it, but even like I was talking with people here who went out and everyone said that like if they were out at a bar or friend's house, like they left at halftime.
And if you have people over, I mean, is the move, you want people to leave, right?
Oh, yeah. Get out.
Right? I mean, that's the thing. That is the thing that we have. Yeah, come on over for the Super Bowl party, but make sure you do not stay to the end of the game. We want you to leave at halftime or just after halftime. That is so funny. Guys, we're going to take your phone calls a lot today. I'll give you the phone number, 800-859-0WJR, 800-859-0957. I do want to point out I'm excited to talk to at 3:18 today. We're going to talk to Eric Winstrom. He is the outgoing police chief in the city of Grand Rapids. Beth Ann, great job making that happen today, because he is in a video that has gone viral. Millions of people have seen this. He had a press conference at his outgoing news conference, talked about politics and policing, and it's been viewed millions of times, and I am very excited to have that conversation with him today as he leaves Grand Rapids and is going to become the police chief in the city of Pensacola, Florida. And I think he can provide some really good insight into what happens in a police department in a city when politics and policing go hand in hand. So we'll look forward to that at 3:18. But coming up next, we're going to talk about what everybody is talking about post-Super Bowl, the halftime shows. Bad Bunny, the All-American show that Turning Point USA did. What did you make of the Bad Bunny? I will give you my analysis of that. Also, the one big mistake that I think the Turning Point USA people made in regards to their halftime show, I'll have that for you. It's all coming up next. If you want to weigh in, 800-859-0WJR, 800-859-0957, 760 WJR. 760 WJR. Welcome back on a Monday. I do want to thank everybody at Our Detroit Magazine, whoever was associated with this. However it happened, I'm not sure, but I want to thank everybody for making me a finalist in 3 categories for the Best of Detroit 2026, as Paul W. Smith mentioned at the end of his show. In the community section, WJR well represented. For radio host, Paul W. Smith is right there for the best radio host in Detroit 2026. Radio news, sports reporter category, I'm listed for WJR. And then in 2 other categories, TV anchor or host and TV news or sports reporter, I'm listed in there twice for my work at Fox 2. So I just wanted to say thanks for making me a finalist. I don't know how my name is on that list, but I really appreciate everybody for however it got there. And if you are so inclined, I would appreciate your vote now that I'm there. Please vote for me. Please vote for Paul W. Smith. And we'll see what happens there. That's an incredible honor to be named and associated with every one of the finalists in all 3 categories. So, I don't do this job for awards or anything like that. I've never won an Emmy award. I've never gotten a first place in a Best of Detroit. That's never been in the cards for me. But I don't do it for that. I literally do it because I'm just a regular guy from the neighborhood that's got a pretty cool job. And I feel like I am out here for the people. That's right. I'm a man of the people. I believe that anyway. I talk like a regular person. And what you see is what you get, ladies and gentlemen. Whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, whether you agree with me, whether you don't agree with me, one thing, at least you're getting me. I'm not out here giving you anything other than my true, honest opinion. And I do think for many people, I think that's fairly rare. And maybe I don't know. I think that's pretty rare. I think at least you're going to get my authentic self. So there you have it. I appreciate it. Halftime. It feels like it's the only thing people want to talk about. And maybe because the game was the most boring Super Bowl I can remember in recent memory. 0 touchdowns scored in the first 3 quarters. In the first quarter, 4 punts in 5 possessions. In the first half, 8 punts in 11 possessions. Third quarter, 5 punts, a fumble, and a field goal. The game was just a total disaster. 15 punts between the 2 teams, 35 incompletions between the 2 quarterbacks. Fourth quarter got a little bit more exciting, but the Seattle Seahawks pulled away, and the result of the game was really never in doubt. 29-13, the final. Seattle is your Super Bowl champion. And maybe because the game was such a dud and other things, obviously, but the halftime show is what everybody wants to talk about. First and foremost, let me say that I did not believe that Bad Bunny was a great choice. And I don't think that taking your biggest sporting event that the country has to offer and having it exclusively in a different language that most of the country does not understand or could even understand a word of it, I don't think that's a good idea. And it's no different than if you are in Italy right now. Go look at Mariah Carey. There was a 3.5-hour concert at the opening ceremony for the Olympics. Mariah Carey was part of that. She is getting hammered. Why? Because she doesn't sing in Italian. I mean, it's pretty basic stuff. But at the end of the day, the Super Bowl halftime show is not for us. And by us, I mean football fans. And I mentioned this the other day. I think it was on Friday when we were talking. Football fans did not care to see a cutaway of Taylor Swift every 5 minutes either during a broadcast. Football fans hammered that Taylor Swift phenomenon that swept the NFL in NFL broadcasts. Universally, football fans pretty much hammered the selection of Bad Bunny because football fans, for the most part, don't understand. And not only that, but look, the players in the game at Media Day earlier this week, this is players from the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots when asked about Bad Bunny as the halftime show.
What's your favorite Bad Bunny song?
I already got one. Sorry about that.
I don't know who that is.
I never heard of Bad Bunny. I don't know who that is.
I heard performing at halftime.
But yeah, I don't know who that is. I don't know no Bad Bunny song.
Do you think they made a mistake?
I believe so. I ain't never heard of bro till now.
I don't have one.
I don't listen to him.
I don't know any song.
Oh, what the heck's it called? I blacked out the name.
I don't think I have one.
I don't know Bad Bunny song. That's a tough one. I don't have one. I don't really listen to that, but I can't lie. I really do not know any. I haven't listened to any songs.
I don't know any to keep.
I mean, guys, it goes on for another 30 seconds. And these aren't random people on the street. These are actually players, Patriots and Seahawks, being asked at Media Day about Bad Bunny. I don't think you have to be some crazy far-right pro-MAGA person to not like the selection of Bad Bunny. I just don't. Now, I know globally he is the biggest superstar in the world, globally. But you know what is also globally the biggest sport in the world? Soccer. And for the mainstream, it doesn't translate here a ton. Are there pockets? Are there, I believe the World Cup that's coming here this summer is going to be great. I think it's awesome, and we'll watch it. But, I don't think it's crazy to presume that most people had no idea what Bad Bunny was saying at that halftime show. Now, as far as the actual performance itself, I thought it was fine. I don't think there was anything controversial about it at all. So all the craziness about, this was the worst thing in the world, I don't think it was that. Now then, President Trump went off saying, this is what he wrote on Truth Social. The Super Bowl halftime show is absolutely terrible. One of the worst ever. Makes no sense and an affront to the greatness of America and doesn't represent our standards of success, creativity, and excellence. Nobody understands a word this guy is saying, and dancing is disgusting, especially for young children who are watching the game. A slap in the face to our country. And it goes on and on. I think that's overboard, man. I don't think it was anything remotely close to that bad. And I think that type of hammering of the Bad Bunny halftime show just pours gasoline on what already felt like an enormous threshold. Look, people made up their opinions 5 days ago, whether they were going to like it or not. Let me tell you how this goes, okay? If you're a liberal, you absolutely loved it because you think that's what you have to say. If you're a conservative, you absolutely hated it because that's what you think you have to say. Or you didn't watch it because you didn't think you could. It is so divisive. And maybe that's what the NFL was getting to because these days, negativity sells. The negativity about the halftime show is what has sold. It is what is been promoted. It is what has kept people engaged in the Super Bowl. And look, like I said, you made your mind up 5 days ago whether or not you were going to like that show or not. And I'm not wrong by saying that. Now, me, to be honest with you, I went in and I didn't think I was going to like it. I thought it was fine. Zero controversy about it. But it just wasn't for me. I did not care about it. I didn't know one word. I thought it was fine. Dancing was not bad. Dancing was kind of nice, actually. But, yeah, I mean, just not my cup of tea. And you know what? That's okay. 800-859-0957, 800-859-0957. Going to get to the Kid Rock part, and I'll tell you exactly what Turning Point USA got wrong. We'll do that next and take your phone call, 760 WJR.
with JR Morning with Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds on 760 WJR. Right now, it's JR Afternoon with Ryan Ermanni.
Grand Rapids Police Chief, outgoing Police Chief Eric Winstrom will join us coming up at 3:18. Looking forward to that conversation. Had a viral video circulating at his goodbye, essentially, press conference, and talked about politics and policing. So much looking forward to the police chief, Eric Winstrom from Grand Rapids. Do that at 3:18. Let me get to a lot of people, like full rack of calls right now. We'll get to the callers in 1 second. I just want to point out the Turning Point USA with Kid Rock. At one point last night on YouTube, they had over 6 million live viewers. 10 million live viewers between Rumble and YouTube and all of the different platforms. For people to lift their nose up at numbers like that, don't know anything about streaming. To get that many people to actively search, which was not easy to do, search for, find, and watch that alternative halftime show was really something. Last I saw, it was over 25 million views across social media. So that was that. I thought they made a huge error, Turning Point USA, that halftime show. Kid Rock was not on at the exact same time as Bad Bunny. In fact, Bad Bunny's performance was over, and Kid Rock was still not on the stage yet. There were a couple of other people who I did not know. So with Bad Bunny done, you know the game is coming, and you could start to see those numbers drop. So I thought that was a huge error by Turning Point to not have Kid Rock maybe start off the show during Bad Bunny's performance. And also, this is worth noting, this was not the first time there was an alternative halftime show at the Super Bowl. In 1992, Fox aired a special live episode of In Living Color as counter-programming to CBS's Super Bowl, and Fox drew 20 to 30 million viewers away from the traditional halftime show that CBS put on during the Super Bowl, which was Gloria Estefan. That was a huge thing. And because of that, it got the NFL's attention. And the very next year in 1993, who did they book? Michael Jackson. So I'd be curious to see what the NFL does with this, because listen, you can sniff your nose at 6 million, 10 million, 25 million, all you want. You go, oh, Bad Bunny got 135 million. I haven't seen the actual numbers yet. But to have that many millions of people actively turn you away or search something else out at the exact same time, I think is pretty telling. Let me get to the phone lines. Bring in Mark in Warren. You are on 760 WJR. Hi, Mark.
Hey, good afternoon. Great show as usual.
Thank you, sir.
I had some friends over, so I was the host. I had to do things around the house and make sure that everybody's comfortable and eating. But I don't believe this Bugs Bunny was that good running around up and down cornfields. Didn't say one word in English, but his name is English, Bugs Bunny. And my friends were not impressed. I don't think he's a phenomenon. I don't think he's known.
Well, he's known worldwide. It's kind of like, look, it's no different, Mark. It's kind of like soccer. Soccer is the biggest sport in the world, but it's probably, if you asked sports fans here in this country, it's probably maybe 6th or 7th behind, football, basketball, baseball, hockey, college football, college basketball, and maybe even you can go to auto sports, and still soccer might not be up there. It's a fact.
Well, I have relatives and friends in Europe, and I talked to them, and many didn't know who he is. But having said all of that, I think that this rabbit laid egg for NFL, and it's America's sport, America's game. It shouldn't be political. It should be just entertainment. Get a good band, You can rotate it every different. We don't need political statements. We got too much politics as it is.
Yeah.
So for my friends and myself, this little rabbit laid a goose egg, and it wasn't that good. And like you said, imagine having a search, and it's very difficult. So if it was easy, the alternative show might have had 50 million viewers instead of 10 or 15 million.
And Mark, right before the show started, thanks so much for the call, Mark. Before the show started, it was announced that you could not get it on X. A lot of people believed they were going to have it on their X feed, but there was a rights issue there. Let me get to Mark in Livonia. A couple of back-to-back Marks here. How you doing, Mark?
Good. I'm going to disagree with a couple of the points you said.
Sure.
When he walked, right in the beginning, when he's walking through the cornfield, now you're paying, I don't know how many thousands of dollars for that, the first few rows. I mean, you couldn't even see him in there. And then that little boy that he picked up, he announced before all of that was one of the boys that ICE captured out of some nursing home or something.
Yeah, that was not true. That was an actor.
That was a lie. Did you know that he sang 10 different songs? I think it's over 10 different songs. They all sounded alike.
I think he sang like 14 songs,
and they
Mark.
weren't that good of songs. Now, I have on my playlist a lot of songs sung in different languages, in Spanish, Italian, but they weren't really that good of a song, even if it wasn't at the Super Bowl. If I saw him in concert, I didn't like the songs. I didn't think they were that good.
It all sounded the same to me.
They could have got somebody like Carlos Santana. They wanted somebody that would, draw a crowd that everybody knows, and he would sing a song in Spanish, and then he would sing one in English.
And here you go. When I saw Ricky Martin, I thought, okay, at least live in La Vida Loca, right? I mean, have something that somebody knows, right? He doesn't even sing that. Mark, thanks so much for the call, my friend. 800-859-0WJR, 800-859-0957. What did you think of the halftime show with Bad Bunny? And also, did you watch the Kid Rock halftime show? Did you watch the Turning Point USA halftime show? Millions of people did actively search and find and watch that one. Rob in Sterling Heights, you're on 760 WJR. How you doing, Rob?
Hey, fine. How you doing, Ryan?
Doing good, my friend. Thanks for the call.
Hey, just a quick question, your analysis on this. Do you think the NFL did this a lot because they want to be more of a global sport?
100%.
Because baseball is very popular in Japan. NBA is extremely popular in China, and hockey is popular, especially in Europe. But also, I have to bring up a counterpoint that in the NFL, they didn't run a lot of ads that they could have. Like Daniel Defense put out a really good commercial, and they refused to run it. So it also tells me he's got restrictions on certain things he doesn't want to have on there.
Yeah, I completely, Rob, I think you raise a good point. I completely agree. I think the NFL picked Bad Bunny because if you look at the NFL's model, they want to be a global game. They want the Lions are going to play a home game next year in, I believe, Germany. I don't know if that's announced yet or not, but they will play one of their home games will be abroad. We see games in London. We see them in Brazil. We see them in Germany. We see them in Spain. And we see them in Mexico. The NFL truly wants to be a global game. I don't believe that works in any league where you have teams all over the globe. I don't think that works. I don't think it'll work for the NFL. I think this season as well was a total dud because of quarterback play. If you look at the season as a whole, I think it was not great. I think quarterback play has been watered down. If you want to expand, perhaps even whatever it's 5 years, 10 years from now and have more teams if you want to have teams in Germany, Spain, London, wherever, Mexico, I think it's going to be a bad product. And I do believe that will fizzle out. Just ask baseball what happens when your product isn't something that the fans want. Rob, thanks so much. I'm going to take a break. We'll continue on. Mike, Gary, everybody else, stay right there. We'll get more of your phone calls. Bad Bunny, the halftime show. What did you make of the Turning Point USA halftime show as well? And the president's reaction to Bad Bunny. All that and so much more. 760 WJR. on YouTube, welcome in. YouTube.com or the YouTube app. You can have us up on your TV, your tablet, your phone, watch the show, and you can even chat along where MJG says both halftime shows were terrible, if you ask me. I've rewatched the Dr. Dre halftime show over 20 times. I won't rewatch this one. Yawn. I think that was my favorite halftime show that I can remember. The Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, because that is totally my wheelhouse. I think that was 5 years ago in Super Bowl 55 in LA. That was just a tremendous show. I thought that's, again, felt like my teenage years where we were singing all of those songs. So good stuff. 800-859-0WJR, 800-859-0957. I think it's pretty simple. Like going in, I think so many people believed that they had made up their minds already on what Bad Bunny was going to do. And look, liberals were going to say they're going to love this show no matter what. No matter what, they were going to love it because you're supposed to love it. Conservatives, you were going to hate it because you just wanted to hate it. Or you're going to watch Turning Point. I didn't think there was much controversy in it at all. I thought that I just didn't understand it. I don't understand. There's no other country in the world that would take their premier sporting event and put it in a language that nobody understands without subtitles, by the way. Maybe that was something that the NFL missed as well. Let me get to Gary in East Point. You're on 760 WJR. Hi, Gary.
Hello, Ryan. Great show.
Thank you, sir.
Anyways, I watched Bad Bunny. It's the first time I heard him. Yeah, if they were subtitles, it probably would have been a little better. The show was good, but nobody really should blame him because he got hired to do the show.
That's a great point, Gary. That's a great point.
Anybody complain should be to the Super Bowl producers. I mean, if somebody comes up to you and say, "Hey, I'll give you whatever amount of money to do this show," well, he did it.
Gary,
I mean,
that's a story. Gary, that's a story of my life. I'm not firing myself.
I know. he did what he was supposed to do.
Hey, if you don't like me, it's not my fault. I'm not going to fire myself.
Right. I mean, he did what he was supposed to do. He's supposed to blame, the Super Bowl producers. I mean, they're the ones that wanted it. That's what they got.
Gary, that's a great call.
Yep. Thank you.
That's a great call, Gary. That's funny. Let me get to Larry in Clarkston. You're on 760 WJR. Hi, Larry.
How's it going?
Good, buddy.
I'm a baby boomer, and I wouldn't have understood it if it was in English anyway, because I can't understand a word of rap.
Right. So. No doubt. I've heard that from a couple of people too. It's pretty funny, but it's kind of true. I mean, how many songs?
It's a generational thing. Young people understand rap. I don't understand a word of it, but I think the dancing was great and the show was great. And it's a lot to do about nothing.
You know what, Larry? I'm glad you said that. I think that's one of the more reasonable opinions about the show. Look, you may not have liked it because we don't know any of the songs, and I think that's where I fall in. But there wasn't anything controversial about it. There wasn't anything anti-American about it. There wasn't all of this need, I don't believe, for the president to come out and say disgusting slap in the face to our country, one of the worst ever. Like, I think that's completely overboard because nowadays we don't go by what our two eyes show us. For instance, let me give you an example. And thanks so much for the call, Larry. Call back anytime. Green Day, I thought if you watch the performance before the game, it was a really good rock concert. But if you went to social media and you were told how you should feel about Green Day's performance, you may not have liked it, or you may have even loved it if you were on the other side. We don't make up our own opinions anymore. We have to do whatever our camps tell us we need to do. And I think that's the problem, among the problems in the country today. We don't make up our own minds. at all. Whatever our side says we should do, that's what we're going to do. And I don't think it's any different with the Bad Bunny. I don't think it's any different with Green Day. I don't think it's any different with Kid Rock. If you are a liberal, you hate Kid Rock. It was the worst halftime show. You can't believe he did that. You didn't watch it. How do you know what he's saying? But you love Eminem. You love Eminem because he's on your team. Kid Rock, screw you. Mike in Lexington, you're on 760 WJR. How you doing, Mike?
How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Thanks, Mike. Losing my voice a little bit.
Turn down my radio?
I don't know. I hear you fine.
Good. Literally everything you said earlier, like, I can't agree. I mean, like, I've got a lot of buddies of mine. I worked in the finance business my whole career, and I got a lot of buddies of mine that are liberal, and man, we fight like crazy all the time. I moved from the Grosse Pointe area up here after I retired, and I'm sure hopefully there's some guys I know that are listening to this, and because I'm down there all the time. I've got a daughter that still lives there, but we've got family, friends, and man, it's just gotten so stupid. It isn't even. I mean, stupid's the best word for it, because
totally,
like, one of my good buddies who's pretty liberal, he went to see Kid Rock a couple times years ago. Now he hates his guts.
Right.
And I watched Kid Rock yesterday, but we taped the Bad Bunny halftime show. My wife and I watched it about an hour ago. I didn't think it was that terrible. I didn't think Kid Rock was that good. Matter of fact, the lip syncing, it looked like he lip synced.
Yeah.
I don't know what he did, but
not great.
But it was sort of crazy. But it was like I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on anything. And my wife was showing me posts that like a couple of her cousins said, and I'm like, I literally want to reach through the phone and because they were saying this stuff like, just like you said earlier, like, oh, I need to act this way and I need to act this way. And I say to friends of mine, my wife, whenever we go to a dinner party, which isn't that often anymore, she's like, Mike, just shut up. Shut up.
Go ahead.
I love poking the bear.
Well, it's not even poking the bear, but here's the thing, Mike, and that's a great call. Please call back anytime. Why should you have to shut up? Like, if you feel like that, everybody else can say anything they want, but you have to shut up. I'm going to do a topic on that tomorrow. I've got some. I might even do it today now because of your call. I might even do it today. Good job, Mike. Great call. I will get back to the phone. A lot of people are passionate about this. I will get back to the phone lines. Also coming up in this hour, we're going to talk to the outgoing police chief in Grand Rapids. We'll talk to Eric Winstrom at 318 760 WJR.
Ryan Ermanni.
Hour number 2 of the program here on a Monday, February 9, 2026. Welcome in, Ryan Ermanni, JR Afternoon, Beth Ann Long, Danielle Mason with us. Let me get to Art in Seattle, Washington. Yeah, baby. Congratulations. Art, how are you, my friend?
You know, Seattle is a great sports town, just like Detroit. You know, Detroit is loyal, has loyal fans, and so does Seattle. Seattle's a great sports town.
And a World Series championship as well. Well, I mean, you were in the World Series, but my goodness, what a year for Seattle sports, huh?
What a year. And, you know, no matter where you go on game day, the pubs are always full of cheering fans, win or lose. And it does. It reminds me a lot of the I-75 corridor, you know, just good fans.
Fantastic.
I always said if Detroit has anything, it has fans. But I was calling you about I watch the Super Bowl. I'm not a big football fanatic, but, you know, most of the halftime shows, I couldn't tell you who was in them. I have no idea. I remember Prince. I remember J-Lo and Shakira. You might mention one or two others that were spectacular, but really, for the most part, they're forgotten.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't remember them.
Every superstar has done it other than Taylor Swift. I mean, that is the only one, right? I mean, Coldplay, Beyonce, Bruno Mars, all of them. They've all done it. Everybody but Taylor Swift has done a Super Bowl halftime show. So it gives people something to talk about. That's the number one story that everybody's talking about today is the Super Bowl halftime show, no doubt about it.
I'm sorry it became political, but, you know, I sure miss the drum and bugle corps and the marching bands. I miss them.
Yeah, you know, and look, Art, thanks so much for the call, my friend. It was all of those halftime shows, those types of halftime shows, which was the reason in 1992 that Fox aired counter programming to the Gloria Estefan Super Bowl halftime show in 92. Fox got 20 to 30 million viewers pulled away from CBS in the Super Bowl halftime show, pulled them away from the Super Bowl halftime show. And it was at that point the NFL said, whoa, we got to do something here with the halftime show. And the following year, Michael Jackson took the stage in the Super Bowl halftime show, and there was no counter programming to that. So we'll see if this Turning Point USA raises any eyebrows at the NFL. I think 10 million live, 25 million overall on social media and growing is a huge number for people to actively seek that out. So we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, I do want to get caught up on some news now. First of all, this Nancy Guthrie situation, I can't get enough of it. And my heart bleeds for Savannah and this family, what they're going through. It is the most bizarre situation I can ever remember. Still to this day, no suspects, no persons of interest, no vehicles that they're looking at. All the while, police are searching in the garage of the sister, taking pictures, Annie Guthrie. They are looking in septic tanks near Nancy Guthrie's house. Law enforcement was at Annie Guthrie's home all day on Saturday, wearing gloves, treating it like it was a crime scene. But yet, police will not give you anything as it relates to any motive or suspects or anything like that. There is another deadline in mere hours from now. Today was the second and final deadline that the alleged ransom notes pointed out. I don't know what's going to happen with this. My heart bleeds for this family and Nancy Guthrie, and I just hope they get to a resolution quickly on it. Now, another thing that I'm really excited to talk about is policing in America. And the Grand Rapids police chief, Eric Winstrom, he is leaving Grand Rapids. He will take a new job in Pensacola, Florida, as the police chief there starting in early March. Now, he has led the department for the last 4 years. And when he made the announcement at a press conference, he was surrounded by fellow officers. And you talk about his tenure, morale was up, staffing was up, expanded neighborhood policing, reductions in crime, trust between the community and the department was elevating, improving, because he took over a really not a great situation. But here is the audio clip, and it was about a 3-minute audio clip. I am just going to play a portion of it for you, but it was about a 3-minute audio clip as to some of the roadblocks that he and his department have faced over the course of the last 4 years. This is Grand Rapids Police Chief at his outgoing press conference announcing he was leaving the department from the other day.
When you politicize policing, that's a recipe for failure. One thing I mentioned in Pensacola is show me a city across the country, anywhere, that is a high-performing, successful city, and I will show you a high-performing, successful police department. Those two go hand in hand. And intelligent politicians understand that. Intelligent politicians who want best for the city understand that. Politicians that maybe are out for themselves to score cheap political points will use policing to score cheap political points. Have I seen that here? Absolutely. Do I think that the next chief is in a position to even take it to the next step so that those voices get quieter and quieter because there's no merit to them? They're just very unserious. Yeah, I think that the next police chief is going to be able to come in here and take this to the next level.
It is incredible to me when you have politicians who really get in the way of law enforcement and good policing. These are just good cops looking to protect the city of Grand Rapids. And, whether you're in New York or Chicago or Detroit, or even here in Grand Rapids on the west side of the state, why would any elected official undermine what the police department is trying to get done to keep your citizens safe? What is the reason? Now, we have been so fortunate here in the city of Detroit, and I truly believe this. When you have mayor, prosecutor, and police chief working together, you have a city that is safer than most. It is never going to be 100%. There will always be more work to be done. But when you have people that are tough on crime, and when you have a prosecutor's office that puts criminals in prison and in jail and doesn't let them just walk on the street the next day, I think that is how you keep citizens safe. For the life of me, I will never understand. And who are you trying to score political points with? What kind of people don't want the police to do their job? Of course. Are there a bad apple here and there? Of course. In any business, in any industry, up and down the aisle, you're going to find a bad one here and there. And it's terrible when you come across one. Terrible. But you're going to paint an entire department like that and undermine what they're trying to do? Man, I'll never understand it. And nobody will ever be able to convince me that that's the right thing to do to keep people safe in any particular city. So we're going to take a break. We'll talk to Grand Rapids Police Chief, outgoing Police Chief Eric Winstrom. We'll do that next. We're going to give some tickets away as well towards the end of the show. So look forward to that. I'll tell you right now, it's going to be tickets to The Sound of Music coming up at the Fox Theater. We'll do that at 3:48. So listen today at 3:48 for your chance to win tickets to The Sound of Music coming to the Fox Theater March 5th through 8th. So 3:48 for that. Talking to the Chief next, 7:60. us here, maybe even in the city of Detroit, but certainly around the country, we first were introduced to Grand Rapids Police Chief Eric Winstrom on All Access PD Grand Rapids, the all access to see what Grand Rapids police officers go through on a day in, day out basis. It was really an up close personal look at everything happening with those officers. And so it was surprising, I think, for many of us when we heard that Grand Rapids Police Chief Eric Winstrom was leaving Grand Rapids. He's going to be taking the chief position in Pensacola, Florida. And that outgoing press conference that he had has been viewed millions of times online now for some of the things that he talked about with policing, because this is a major problem all over the country, not just in Grand Rapids. And for the life of me, I will never figure out why politicians do not partner with police. Instead, they try to knock them down in many situations. So without further ado, let's bring in Eric Winstrom now. Chief, thanks so much for the time, my friend. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, Ryan, thanks for talking to me today.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, what has the reaction been like to your outgoing press conference? What are some of the things? Who have you heard from? Are you surprised that has gotten so many views and so much reaction around the country?
Reactions from, I came from the Chicago Police Department, and I first realized that people had seen it when so many Chicago police officers, some current, some retired, started reaching out. People I haven't talked to in years said, "Oh, good, well said. That's what we all want to say." And I didn't even know what they were talking about, but because I said a lot during that press conference.
Right.
But when I go back on it, I think it probably was the most impactful, section there. Just to comment on how too often times in policing, politicians, they see us either as, it ranges from either just an outright evil to a necessary evil, and that's not a recipe for success. We are a necessary good. And the politicization of policing has just caused such damage across the country. So,
what happens in a department when politicians essentially don't have your back? And for lack of a better way to say it, when they're taking cheap shots at entire departments, what does that do for the morale of a department? And how much of that did you experience in your time as chief in Grand Rapids?
Well, the first thing that happens is, people got to realize no one wants to work for a boss that doesn't like them. No one wants to work for a city that doesn't like them, certainly for political leaders that don't like it. So, morale, of course, drops, but also officers just start looking for another place to work, and there's options out there. So if you look at places like, Austin, Texas now, or Minneapolis is a great example. They're down, a third of their workforce are down. No one wants to work there. That's what happens. And when no one wants to work there, I don't know if you'll remember, after George Floyd is killed up in Minneapolis, their city voted literally to defund the police department, to abolish it, whatever it was. They the city as a whole just said, we don't support policing. And the police responded and said, well, we'll go work somewhere else. The ones that stayed, I'm sure, weren't trying very hard. And the murder rate tripled. Violence just filled that vacuum, and they haven't rebounded yet. They're short hundreds and hundreds of officers, as with other jurisdictions too. It makes it depressing. It's a simple thing. You want to work for a place that loves you, especially in a profession like this, where we're putting our heart and soul, and we're putting, you're risking quite a bit going out on the street. You don't want to do that and feel like it's for people that don't like you.
Do politicians, in your experience, Chief, do they understand how much damage they are doing, not only to the police department, because, hey, you could go to work anywhere you want in the country if you're a cop or if you're a police officer. Do they understand how they are hurting their own citizens? They're making their citizens less safe by doing this.
The sad thing is, some of them understand, and yet these politicians are acting in their own self-interest to get just to benefit themselves, and they're willing to take cheap political shots at police, which could lead to increased violent crime, could literally lead to murder, just to get more votes, more clicks on social media, more attention. So the smart ones, they know that that success for a city is tied hand in hand with success for a police department. And some of them, they'll still attack us for fake reasons just to get that attention in the media from, a far fringe anti-police group that they're seeking the approval of.
And for whatever reason, it does play in the media, and I'll never understand it. We are talking to outgoing Grand Rapids Police Chief Eric Winstrom. Chief, you talked about coming from Chicago. When you came from Chicago to Grand Rapids to be the chief in Grand Rapids, what were some of the different levels of interaction that you may have had as chief in Grand Rapids with politicians to maybe, a lesser role to a degree in Chicago? What was that experience being, the chief and dealing with some of these politicians that really probably don't know what they're doing?
Yeah, well, that's true. And this is a profession. We are the experts in it. It's, everybody who owns a TV thinks that they know everything about policing, but it is a complicated profession. The interesting thing that I found dealing with politicians here was that I came from a very challenged police department in Chicago, one that had serious corruption. I've testified for the FBI against police officers that are currently in prison. I've arrested police officers. It was just a very challenged police department with real problems. And coming here to Grand Rapids, I encountered a group of politicians, not all of them, but a group of politicians that were almost sad that Grand Rapids didn't have the same issues that other cities did, because they wanted to talk about it in the news. They wanted it to post it on their Facebook page to get clicks about how brutal the Grand Rapids Police Department. It was a really strange thing coming from a place like Chicago to the Grand Rapids Police Department, the most professional. I will put us against any department in the country.
It's interesting you say that because, Chief, to arrest another police officer, to testify against other officers, there is nobody that wants to root out bad cops more than good cops.
Exactly right.
And I don't think that maybe some of these politicians that are so anti-police, I don't think they take that into consideration at all. What's your experience?
No, I agree 100%. Yeah, nobody gets more upset over a bad police officer than a good one. And we have such a strong accountability system here. We hold our officers accountable. Unfortunately, I've had to fire 2 officers since I've been here, but we'll hand out hefty suspensions if they're warranted. But the police officers don't mind, because they like being known as a department that's held to a very high standard, so that they're seen, when they knock on the door, when a door opens and someone's seen in a Grand Rapids police uniform, they know that they're seen as the gold standard of policing. But then when there's a video posted on social media that a politician gets a hold of and then contacts me and say, Chief, look at this. The police, ICE is a big topic. Like, look at this. Your Grand Rapids officers are out there helping ICE and brutalizing people. And what are you going to do? You gotta fire these guys. And I'll look, and it's either a perfectly legitimate use of force, no use of force at all. ICE is nowhere to be seen. But then they get upset when I explain it, say this is perfectly lawful. I try and get our local politicians here to go through our use of force training, to do ride-alongs with officers. I don't even think you should be able to be elected into municipal government until you've been in a police car for at least 20 hours or so you know what you're doing. But it's just reality and politics don't always mesh for some people.
It's incredible to even think about, and just going back to something that you said earlier in the conversation about how many officers around the country reach out to you and say, I wish I could say that. Isn't it something how stifled people are in how they truly feel about things? Because I think you are in a perfect spot right now and a great opportunity to really share some of the struggles that officers are going through, not only in Grand Rapids, but around the country. That's a pretty powerful spot to be in. Do you agree?
I think so too. And especially, with police leadership, you're always talking on behalf of the city. You have to represent well, but you can't get into politics. There's some things you just can't say, because, you got to look to see where your next paycheck's coming.
That's right.
When I was in the union, I had more, they can't fire me for using my First Amendment right, but So on my way out the door, and doing it in a professional way, but just letting people know, this is a city which needs to really take a good look at itself. There are real crime problems here. There's real progress that we've made, but there's more progress to be made. And until everyone takes it seriously and stops being out for themselves for political reasons, we're not going to get better.
Chief, final question, and thanks so much for this time that you've spent here with our audience on WJR. For citizens out there, for people out there that are trying to, decipher what they're seeing either on the news from politicians who may be trying to stoke a fear among citizens or really diminish what a police department is trying to do, what would be your message to just the average citizen out there that doesn't follow the news as closely as maybe you or I? What would you like to tell citizens out there?
Keep an open mind, and if you live in an area where you have a police department like the Grand Rapids Police Department, which has a Citizens Police Academy, or which allows ride-alongs for civilians with the police officers, take advantage of those opportunities, because there's so much that you don't know. The media tends to simplify and exaggerate, and the bigger the scandal, the more interesting and the more airplay it gets. So just take the time to be that voice of common sense and keep an open mind.
Chief, God bless you, man, and stay safe on the job. And congratulations to you and your family for the job in Pensacola, Florida, and all the best to you out there. We need more people like you to raise your voice and share your true thoughts on what is happening between police departments and politicians, because like you said, the politicizing of police departments has got to stop for everybody's sake. Thank you so much, and all the best to you and your family.
Thank you, Ryan.
You got it. Eric Winstrom, outgoing Grand Rapids Police Chief. Great conversation there. 760 WJR.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on it.
Rapids Police Chief, outgoing Grand Rapids Police Chief Eric Winstrom. Great conversation with him. And look, he came from Chicago, a police department that had a lot of problems. And there's no doubt that, politicians take advantage of those situations. They want to get clicks. They want to get votes. I don't know why that works for them when you minimize a police department, when you minimize their effectiveness to do their job. What in the world, how that plays in your favor? I will never be able to comprehend how that works at all. We talked about when Trump sent the National Guard to Washington, D.C. many months ago. Policing in D.C. became a big issue when it came to the local politics of it, because the Washington, D.C. Police Chief Union, or the police union, talked about how after 2020, there was a series of legislation passed locally that really opened up police officers to a lot of trouble, and opened them up for all kinds of things. And at that point, over a 5-year period, the Washington, D.C. Metro Police went from 4,000 sworn officers to just over 3,000. Nearly lost 1,000 police officers in a 5-year period. And because of that, crime went up in D.C., and the officers that did stay in Washington, D.C. had to work a mandatory combined 2 million hours. 2 million hours of overtime. How does that make your city safer? But if it scores political points, well, good for us. Yay, team. It's just incredible how that works for anybody. I'll never understand it. Mike in Heartland, you're on 760 WJR. How you doing, Mike? Hello.
Show. I look forward to
thanks.
listening to it every day. I listen to as much as I can.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that.
Hey, so first thing, on the Super Bowl halftime show,
yes.
I thought it was all right. I thought it was pretty good. Not great, but, I enjoyed it. I didn't see anything controversial or anything like that about it. And I did hear him say about a third through the performance, he did say the word okay in English. And about 2/3 through the performance, he did say in English, God bless America. So
that's fantastic.
And second thing, it's all about halftime. It's all about ratings and views and keeping people on the Super Bowl the whole time. I think next year they should change it up a little bit. This guy, Mr. Beast, he has over 430 million subscribers. He has over 10 billion views.
Let's get
I
him
think they
on
should do
there.
like a Mr. Beast mini games at halftime and pull people out of the audience at random, have them come on down, just like on The Price is Right. Come on down, do these little mini Mr. Beast games. Winner gets $1 million. Then home, for the at-home viewers, you're watching, you register with your smartphone, with your phone number, and then they draw a person from home that gets $1 million. Now everybody's happy. We got something different than just music, and we get a lot more ratings, and maybe you win $1 million.
I mean, look at that. Good job. Good job. That's a great call. That's a great call, man. Let's go.
Hey, thank you.
Mr. Beast, get him in there. Get him in. Roger Goodell calling on line 5. Thanks so much for the call. That's fantastic, man. Oh, geez. All right, gang. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Steve Courtney, because we got to talk some Super Bowl with Steve. And I'm going to tell you right now, one of the things, as I was watching that Super Bowl last night, and I was thinking about New England, New England had, and I hope the Lions have this road at some point where you could be called the least deserving team ever to make it to a Super Bowl. I hope the Lions can say that at some point in their history, because do you know why? That would mean you're at the Super Bowl. But watching New England play last night, I thought to myself, this season set up perfectly for New England. And I'll tell you, I think next season is going to set up perfectly for the Detroit Lions. I really do, with a 4th place schedule. I think the Lions are going to be in the Super Bowl next year, gang. And I hope maybe you mark this down at some point and you remember that you heard it here first. I think the Lions are going to be that team in the Super Bowl next year where everything just went their way, much like everything went their way for New England this year. And I just truly believe that. So there you go. All right. We're going to take a break. Steve Courtney coming up next. Don't go anywhere. 760 WJR. All right, here we go, gang. Call 1-800-859-0WJR, 1-800-859-0WJR. Be caller number 9, and you will win a pair of tickets to Rodgers and Hammerstein's The Sound of Music at the Fox Theater, directed by 3-time Tony Award winner Jack O'Brien. This vibrant and romantic tale of Maria and the Von Trapp family will captivate you with its universal themes of love, resilience, and the power of music. Playing Detroit's Fox Theater March 5th through the 8th. For a bonus chance to win, text keyword Maria to 800-859-0957, 800-859-0957. For official rules, visit WJR.com. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster. Before we get to Steve Courtney, I do want to let everybody know that Savannah Guthrie has just within the last couple of minutes posted a new video. She is completely by herself in this video. It is a much different video. It is now goes from talking to the alleged ransom letter author, the alleged kidnappers, to a plead with the public. She says, and I quote, "We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help." She is pleading with the public to report anything, no matter how small, that people just pleading with everybody to help bring her mom home safe. Just kind of feels like they've got nothing right now. Law enforcement has nothing. That's what it feels like to me anyway. So, man, it's a story that continues to captivate. All right, let's no easy transition to get to this, but we get to our guy, Steve Courtney. My guy, Steve Courtney. Steve-O, how you doing, buddy?
I am great there, Ryan. Hard to believe, but another National Football League season has come and gone. Super Bowl 60 in California yesterday. And you know what? When you think about it, Ryan, it kind of went the way we thought it would when we discussed it on Friday.
100%.
Seattle, top shelf defense in the league. And boy, did they show up, huh?
No doubt about it. And it felt like I was on with Mark Hollis yesterday morning on this fine radio station. And I said exactly, I said, I feel like it's going to get off to a slow start, very slow start, and Seattle will pull away. And Steve, at 9-0, it felt like a blowout.
True.
And
Well,
New
you know
England
what?
had no answer.
You know, it's interesting because Mike McDonald, the second year head coach of the
Unbelievable.
Seattle Seahawks. He's only 38 years old, for crying out loud, and he delivers the franchise's Super Bowl about 12 years apart. Patriots with the 29-13 win. But on Friday, Ryan, we discussed the fact that the Patriots O-line had been through it, even in the postseason, when you consider that Drake May had been sacked 5 times in the previous 3 playoff games. And yesterday, Seattle takes it to another level 6 times. Drake May was under pressure early, under pressure often. And then when you consider at the end of the third quarter, the Patriots had 78 yards of offense.
Unbelievable.
You know, there's times teams get 78 yards of offense on their opening possession.
I know.
For crying out loud.
Look, 0 touchdowns scored through the first 3 quarters, 15 punts, 35 incomplete passes. It was insane how futile the offenses were in the first 3 quarters of the game. It was unbelievable.
Well, when you take a look at the final numbers of the quarterbacks involved, Sam Darnold, again, happy for him, 19 of 38, just 202 yards in the air, 1 touchdown, a rating of 74.7. Drake May, meanwhile, 27 of 43, 295 yards. He had the 2 TDs late, but he also had the 2 picks, a rating of 79.1. But you go back to Darnold, and, you know, he put together that 14-3 season with the Vikings before beginning his career in Seattle. And, you know, via today's market, what Seattle got him for moving forward, kind of a bargain, $33.5 million a year. But I'm very happy for that dude, because again, when you look back on his career to start things with the Jets, a beleaguered organization, and then with the Carolina Panthers, you're thinking there's a better than not chance that we're not going to hear a whole hell of a lot from Sam Darnold moving forward. And here he is, a Super Bowl champion.
It almost felt like he went out west to wither away in oblivion. And my goodness. And it just goes to show you as well, Steve, it's not when you go. I'm talking about he was the 3rd overall pick in the draft. It's not when you go, it's where you go and who will develop you into becoming a quarterback. And obviously, it was great to be the number 3rd overall pick, but how many guys taken early that go to crap organizations have just nothing of a career and they're out of work in 5 minutes? This truly highlights that where you go matters, not when you go.
Well, you're talking about, again, these two teams, the Seahawks and Patriots, both on the outside looking in a year ago as far as the postseason goes. But here's a nugget that I'll share with you, and it's absolutely mind-blowing. The Seahawks, Ryan, trailed for only 1 minute, 35 seconds this postseason. That's the 5th least amount of time trailing by any Super Bowl champion, and you're going back to the 1970 merger.
It's wild. It's wild.
Isn't that insane?
And you think about where we are here in Detroit, and you look at those two teams that were playing last night, Steve, how quickly they turned it around. Both organizations completely rebuilt their organizations within a 6 or 7 year period from their heyday, so to speak. Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick. It's wild, man, how quickly they made it look.
Well, and
how easy they made it look.
A guy like Mike McDonald made it look. Again, he's only been a head coach in Seattle for 2 years, and he's already a Super Bowl champion. Meanwhile, did some light reading earlier, and ESPN.com had their way too early 2026 power rankings. They've installed the Lions at number 7. And then making note that Brad Holmes has to completely rebuild the O-line. But that being said, for a team on the outside looking in, like our Honolulu Blue and Silver Lions were, as far as the playoffs go, to be number 7 in this little category here, okay, it's something to build on.
The Super Bowl window is alive and well, Steve. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Meanwhile, Pistons, I'll let you know quickly, they are in action tonight in Charlotte to take on the Hornets. That's going to be a 7:00 start. Pistons 7-3 over their last 10. They are 5 games better than both the Knickerbockers and the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference. Charlotte, by the way, they're playing a little ball. They look to continue their 4-game home winning streak. So we'll see what happens in that regard.
Steve, I got about 15 seconds. I thought this NFL season as a whole was a bit of a dud. What did you think of the season? I mean, no Mahomes, no, you know what I mean? No, what did you think? Is that an
a
overstatement?
lot of marquee guys going down, and I know there are some folks happy to get a little bit of new blood, if you consider the Patriots new blood in the Super Bowl. But listen, kudos to Mike Vrabel and the job he did with that Pats team.
You're the best, bud. We'll be listening next, and enjoy the halftime show conversation. That's all anybody wants to talk about.
I'm staying out of it. Out.
All right. Hey, I want to thank Beth Ann Long. I want to thank Danielle Mason. And more importantly, I want to thank you for making us part of your day. YouTube, check us out on YouTube. Subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, just makes it easier to find us. The Mitch Albom Show is next here on 760 WJR.
Now WJR Health Watch